Blessings, everyone, in this virtual circle that we're creating, and so much gratitude to Zet and to Rudy for inviting me in today. And I feel like today is a really precious day, like all days, and it's also a day for us to look at the root of things. I was just out on my land. I have 180 acres outside of Santa Fe, and there are these, I don't even know what they are. I just call them alien plants. They're these little yellow plants that have been popping up everywhere, and they don't get very big, but they really seem more like mushroom than plants. And as I was hanging out with them, I realized that they have a whole root system underneath the earth, that what I'm seeing is just the tip of that mass of communication that's happening. And we're learning more and more about fungi and all of the connections that are happening underground simultaneously, that when you see a mushroom pop up in the soil, that is just the flower, basically the fruit of an incredible network, and that network connects the tree roots. They actually bring nutrition of what the trees need. The trees communicate with each other. There's this incredible underground web of love, of beings that are sharing resources, that are nurturing each other, that are expressing themselves, that are communicating, but we don't see it. And we were singing today, and I was feeling into Zet and Rudy and the communities, just the love and this idea of all of us coming together, that fungi is a really good representation of that. And then we also have Bermuda grass. So this is going to be kind of a rough metaphor, but stick with me. So Bermuda grass, if you've ever gardened and you've had Bermuda grass or any sort of invasive species in your garden, you know that if you just pull the top of the Bermuda grass, it doesn't solve the problem. The problem is deeper. The problem is in the roots, and that you have to systematically dig down to find where is the core and pull the entire root up. And that takes time. It takes patience. It takes perseverance. We're in a time right now where we're seeing violence, frustration, rage, and it's justified, because what we're seeing is the manifestation of the roots of what I consider hatred, of what I consider independent love, or people that love just their people. And what we're moving to, oh my God, my cat just jumped up onto the window. That is hilarious. What we're moving to is opening to, there is a web of love, that we're all connected, and that we want to connect everyone, not just our people. We're talking about all humans, all trees, all plants, all kitty cats that are leaping at windows, all manifestations of life we want to bring into the family. Nobody gets left out of the family. When we start saying this group of humans is more important than this group of humans, we're dividing love. And what starts to happen is this community may have love for their community, but now they're creating hate and separation for another community. And that, for me, is the Bermuda grass. It's these deep roots that are also, we have to acknowledge, are also woven into our society. And it's not enough to only focus on love. We also have to go into action, because love is action. Love isn't just sitting back and hoping things change. Love is about saying, where can I start in myself and in my actions, rooting out hate, rooting out separation, rooting out racism, rooting out the places where I have divided myself against myself and around others. And that it's not just about pulling the top surface out. We have to be willing to go into the roots. And so what we're seeing right now is not isolated. It's coming from a deep root system that needs to be pulled out. And that takes patience, perseverance, and understanding. How did we get here? How did we get here? How did we get here as humans? How did we get to this place of anger and frustration and violence that's happening in our society? and to really be willing to go into the roots with love. It doesn't work. Hate doesn't work to heal hate. Love heals hate. But the kind of love that I'm talking about is what I'm calling right now ferocious love. It's that willingness to get messy, to dig, to look at how do I pull the roots out, not only of myself, because we definitely have to do our own weaving and unweeding, and pulling out, but also how do I contribute to changing and pulling the roots, helping to pull the roots of this separation in our society, the places where we've divided people against each other, where we've divided color against color, where we've divided class against class. I've been doing a lot of reading and educating myself right now around privilege, around classism, around racism, around capitalism, and how all the roots are really tied together. And that it takes educating ourselves, and that we don't have to feel guilty. As a white person, I don't have to feel guilty about what's happening, but I do have the opportunity, and this is from my heart, this is from my love, this is not from I have to save somebody or they need me. This is from I choose to stand with everyone. I choose to see the inequality, and that it's a structural inequality. It's not just the manifestations that we're seeing that we think, oh, well, that's just over there. We're on a bed of this root system. And in order to change it, that means acting from deep, ferocious love for all, and looking at what actions can I take? What can I do to help to unroot this separation that's been created? It's been consciously created. It's not a mistake. It's not an accident. It's been consciously created, which means it can be consciously uncreated as well. But that means we need to consciously attend to educating ourselves, learning about the roots, not just seeing the manifestation, but going deeper. Our society is really based in punishment and reward. And most of the time, we become afraid of not getting the reward. And the reward is acceptance. The reward is being seen, being loved, being safe. Okay. And we also have this incredible system of punishing ourselves through our own judgment and punishing others. And I want to share a vision. And this is a vision that a friend of mine who works up in Canada shared with me. She works with First Nation peoples, and specifically she's a therapist working within a First Nation community that has a very, very high rate of incest and domestic violence, incredibly high rate. They don't go in and say to the perpetrator, you are bad, we're removing you from the family, you're the problem, because they understand that's only the manifestation of a deeper problem. And so what my friend is part of is going into Native communities and helping everyone understand this is a manifestation of deeper hurt, of deeper trauma. And what they do is they bring the whole family system together, and they do ceremony, and they talk about colonialism. They talk about the roots of hatred that is embedded in people because of the way the schooling happened, the boarding schools with the Native people, how their hatred got turned inside, and that this is just a manifestation. And so they work to heal the entire system. When I heard her talk about this, I started crying because I realized, how can we bring this to our communities? How can we stop seeing them and us, the bad people and the good people, the perpetrators and the victims, and instead understand we're all victims. We're all victims of a system that was designed to give some people power and keep other people oppressed. And whether we're benefiting from this system in appearance, or we're being pushed down by this system, we're all being hurt. We're all being hurt by the system. So how can we start to heal from this place of ferocious love, the whole, and stop the separation and realize the manifestations we're seeing are from people that haven't been listened to, that don't have a voice, that are at their edge. And that to hold, we're part of the healing. And we're in a healing. Somebody said a beautiful quote to me the other day, and the quote was, "We're not in trouble, we're in transformation." And then she followed that up with, and transformation means some people are in trouble. So whether we're navigating, the pandemic, racism, violence, the systems starting to get really, really rocky on many levels right now, we want to respond to the whole and realize we are in transformation. And the transformation we're in is going to be messy. Transformation's messy. Think about giving birth. And we're working right now to birth something new. And if we just look at the pain and the messiness of birthing, it can feel really overwhelming. But if you know there's a new baby coming, there's a new paradigm coming, if we can hold to that and vision what's the new baby that we're birthing, what do we want it to be like? How do we then care for that being? Then the mess that we're in right now makes more sense. And we understand it's part of the transformational process. And to hold this time of birthing, be with the vision of where we're going. What would it mean to be in a society that actually had equality, where we were eradicating racism really consciously? And it's going to take generations. It's taken generations. It will continue to take generations. It's not going to be fixed our lifetime. But this is the gift we're giving ourselves and our children and all the children that are coming, all of the colors, really honoring Black people's voices at this time, Indigenous voices at this time, and stepping back to listen. How can we serve and support them in this time of birthing? And that it's okay that it's messy. It's part of the process. And that, yes, some people are going to need more support than others. And part of that ferocious love is in community. We know sometimes people are hurting and we have a little bit extra energy and we give and we support. And we know that that gets passed around. Sometime we're going to be hurting and struggling and there'll be somebody for us. But this place of remembering that incredible web that's beneath us that is stronger than the hatred, that's stronger than the Bermuda grass roots that we're trying to pull up, is this web of love, this web of life. That is how nature functions, is in community, is in communion, is in sharing resources. And so how do we now help redistribute resources, both the resource of love, finances, care, action, whatever those resources are, how do we distribute them in such a way that we're helping to mend the places that there's hurt, the places that there's old trauma? How do we bring our love into every action that we take? How do we understand and hold this time without judging or separating ourselves? And how do we also speak up against injustice from love? This is what I'm navigating right now, and it's not always easy. And we need to use our voices, but we also need to digest. So it's something that I want to leave us with is this another metaphor, which is that we're in complex times. And part of navigating complexity is digesting complexity, is being able to chew on the complexity until we break it down and we simplify it for ourselves. So it's deeply in our being. And the times that we're navigating right now, pandemic, racism, classism, all the isms that we're navigating at this time. Um, and like lots of interesting challenges in our political system as well in America, that instead of trying to cover it over or get overwhelmed by it, that we're willing to turn towards the complexity, that we're willing to educate ourselves again, to really learn, where is this coming from? To look at the roots and to chew, to take it in, to let it seep into our being so we can take in the nutrient. And part of taking in the nutrient is realizing in all transformation, there are heroes and heroines. There are people that are the lighthouses. There are people that are the way showers. And so the more that we can also bring in those way showers, that we can see throughout history, there have been these incredible beings that have given us courage, that can give us courage now. That's part of the digesting, is to find those people that are present now, that are writing, that are sharing, that are educating. Find those people, and also find the ancestors, our own blood ancestors and the ancestors of all the peoples that have been fighting for justice, that have been bringing love forward in powerful, powerful ways. They can be our guide of how to navigate these times. They can show us. We're not alone. We have people that have walked before us. We have people that are walking among us now. Let us find them and take in the nutrition as we also break down the places that we get overwhelmed or confused, or we don't understand particular pieces, that as we digest it, we'll be able to go, oh, I do understand. I do see the web, both that web of love and that web of separation. The more that we root out the separation inside of ourselves, the more that we're able to be open to listen to what is our action in the world. How do we be in service to that foundation of love as we also help root out the separation? So let's close our eyes. I always like, especially now that we're doing this virtually, put one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And just take a breath into your belly and into your heart, really mindfully deepening your breath. And first, I'd like you to feel that under your feet, there is this incredible web of love that connects everything very physically. So let yourself drop into the earth and imagine that you can travel along these pathways of the fungal networks and the soil and the tree roots and the flowers and all of life. The ancestors are in the soil as well. Their actual bodies are in the soil. So breathing in this feeling sense of connection. You are connected to everything. Allowing yourself to feel this love of no separation between you and life moving through this trees, the soil, your body, the animals, the mountains, the sky. And imagine taking this feeling sense of gratitude for your life, for this connection, for being part of this incredible earth that we are part of. And taking that love, and imagine the feeling sense of digging out the roots of something that needs to be removed from the garden. You don't have to hate that thing that you're removing, but you do have to be tenacious to keep going, to get all of the root system out. So feel that sense of calm, focused, maybe even fierce digging with love to get at the roots. That willingness to get messy, that willingness to not know how long it's going to take, how deep the roots are, but that you're willing with love to do what's needed to heal the whole. So as we close this meditation, what is your word? Let your wisdom of your being, let a word bubble up. That's your focus. That's your intent. That's your prayer for these times. What's your word? Beautiful. And bringing both hands to your heart. Feeling gratitude for this circle of celebration, for all of these hearts coming together to heal the whole. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and be present here.